Here with the first ever Come Correct champion, Miss Energy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you look good. I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Pink.
All pink, you know.
Yes. So talk me through it. Like, talk me through your outfit. What were you feeling?
Well, first of all, I love fashion, and I always have a vision of a look before I actually go and purchase the items for it. So I'm always happy when it comes to life, and this is something that kind of popped into my head. Definitely heavily influenced by my inner child.
Yes, I can tell.
Yes, you know, I'm usually in all black, but pink actually is my favorite color. And, you know, I got my platform sneakers on, heavily inspired by the Spice Girls, you know.
Yeah, I see it.
I'm a 90s baby.
Yes.
And yeah, you know, so here I am on my pink, got my Bratz shirt as well, you know, so.
Yeah, gotta represent.
Gotta represent.
Yeah, no, I love the outfit.
Thank you.
I love the outfit. And I guess that brings us right into like our next, well, my next question is of course your name, because your name is Energy.
Yes, it is.
And it's not just Energy, E-N-E-R-G-Y, how like we usually spell it, but like yours is different. So talk me through it.
Talk you through it. Well, Energy, it's a name that was given to me. So I kind of went through like a really big healing journey, and a journey where I kind of shedded a lot of layers of myself and really got to know who I was underneath all the things that were kind of put on me, if that makes sense.
Right,
the things that I was kind of like conditioned. Exactly. Yeah. And so throughout that process, I kind of knew, so Energy is not my birth name. It is my legal name. I did legally change it. And yeah, so I always knew I was going to change my name during that process, but I thought it would come through some sort of like, I don't know, spiritual ceremony or something. But then honestly, it kind of just came to me one day, and I was like, I know that this is my name, because it really represents who I am today, because I feel like I'm everything and nothing all at once. And to me, that's what energy is.
That's super deep. Hold on, let me get comfortable. Let me get comfortable real quick. Okay. Yeah.
I'm everything and nothing all at once.
Yes.
So that's where energy came from. And then the spelling, honestly, I just really wanted an N in it. I wanted an I and a J in it. And
I was like, I'm like,
how am I going to do this? Yeah. And I was actually talking to a friend about it as well. And they were kind of like, well, what if you spell it like this or like that? And I think they had suggested like G-I-E. And I was like, oh, like I kind of like that, but I want a J in my name. So I'm going to do it like this. And then, I don't know, the name kind of just came to me, and that's what it is.
Yeah. No, but it's a very interesting way to write it. But once you read it, you automatically know that it says Energy, and it's really bold as well. So
pretty bold person.
I know, with the big and everything. Okay. Tell us about, I know you did a little bit of a dive into the name change, but tell us a bit about like your childhood, your birthplace, influences.
So, well, I was born in Montreal actually, and we moved to Toronto when I was like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in Toronto.
Fait que tu parles français?
No. Oh, that is everybody. Every time I tell people, I'm like, yeah, so I was born in Montreal. They're like, oh, do you speak French? I'm like, no, I don't.
No, sorry. I thought, you know.
But it's because I left when I was so young, right? And then my family doesn't really speak French.
Okay.
So, you know, and in Toronto, you don't learn French till like grade 4. I'm pretty sure it is. So
like late in the game.
Exactly. And to be fair, like school wasn't really my thing. So, but no, I don't speak French. And yeah, so I grew up in Toronto. I grew up in a really like awesome neighborhood. It was like super, there was a lot of kids and stuff like that. So it was vibey. I also did have a very traumatic childhood as well.
Yeah.
There was like, you know, it was a little bit overshadowed by some abuse that took place. But I was always super creative. Yeah. And I was always really supported in all of that, you know, from like my family, my friends, stuff like that. And I was always doing artistic things, but I actually started dancing before singing. First.
Okay, tell me about that. Tell me about dancing.
Dancing had my heart. Like that's what I was like kind of, I guess, known for. Like in school, I was always like in the dance clubs, and like at recess, I'd be like choreographing dance with my friends. I'd be like, hey, so we're gonna learn this. And then like, you know.
TikTok would have been for you at the time.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, so like dancing was my thing. And I'd even like, we would choreograph dances and stuff so that we could perform them at the school dances.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was a little dramatic, but you know. It was fun. But yeah, so dancing was definitely my thing. And then it was acting.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and then it was acting. I went to school for acting actually. To
like childhood, or like when you were like a teenager, you kind of took that on?
Yeah, that was...
Age?
So acting... I wanted to start acting. I was young when I wanted to start acting, but when I went to the art school, so that was Wexford Collegiate School for the Arts, that's a high school. So that was grade 10, I went there.
Okay.
But yeah.
You didn't like it?
Oh no, I loved it.
Oh, okay. Not that like I want to, you know, I just, you know, you're a singer now, like you're singing and I just want to see the path.
So I was always singing. Again, like from since I was young. I was always making music. I was always writing. I had a songbook when I was younger. Like it was just how I expressed myself.
Right.
I don't think sometimes I'm very good with my words, like just speaking, especially when it comes to talking about my feelings and my emotions. And so I write about it. And so I've always done that.
Okay.
And, you know, people would always be like, oh my God, you have such a nice voice. Like, can you sing something for me? Whatever, whatever.
You'd always be saying that.
Oh no, you know, like, but I didn't take it serious. It was just fun for me.
Yeah.
You know, it was just fun for me. And it wasn't until 20, like, what was it? 2014, 2012, 2013? One of those years.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, I'm going to like actually start singing and like put covers on YouTube and like do all of that. And then from there, it
just took off.
kept going. Yeah.
Nice. But so when you sing, do you feel like, I'm just going to bring it back a little bit to your trauma, because you mentioned that a little bit. Not that I want to deep dive into it.
I mean,
I ain't gonna deep dive into it. But I want to know, did that play a part in your singing and your writing? Like I know you said you didn't, it verbally was difficult for you to like vocalize certain things. So do you think that kind of played a role?
In my writing?
Yeah.
Like how
writing.
I write? Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. I think that when you go through certain things and certain traumas, you can lose your voice. And you can become more like, I don't know, like quiet about things. You know what I mean? You don't really want to open up like that and stuff. And so music was that for me. I got to tell my story and I got to kind of talk about the things that, you know, I can't just sit down here and be like, oh, da 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 da, right? So I'm gonna put it in a song then, you know? But also it was a way for me to get out the pain that I was experiencing in a way where people didn't really know what I was talking about, you know? So that definitely played a role in my writing for sure.
That's great. I love that. So it was, singing was essentially like a tool for you for a lot of emotion to get out there. So you put the emotion in the, is that how they say it? Emotion in the pen?
I put them in the pen.
I don't know how they say it, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. But that exactly, yeah.
Okay, that's great. It's nice to know.
Yeah.
So do you have, what's the first memory you've ever had of singing?
The first memory?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or like when you first fell in love with singing, where you were like, okay, forget about dancing, forget about acting. Like, I know you mentioned at some point it happened.
Yeah. See, but the thing is, like, I always did love it. Like
what was the catalyst where you're just like, okay, dancing, meh.
Yeah. I think it was after I graduated from high school.
Okay.
Where I went to do acting.
Right.
People didn't know I could sing when I went to that school because I hid that part. And I was like, I'm just here for acting and that's what I'm going to focus on. And so I think that when I, I don't know, I think that when I left there, I felt like, there's a part of myself that I know needs to be seen and I'm hiding it. And I don't know why, but I love singing. So why have I stopped doing it?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's really what it was. I don't think there was a major moment where I was like, oh my God, because I was always playing and dabbling and singing. Like I totally forgot too that growing up I had a friend and we would just be in my basement and recording covers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? With this stupid little desktop microphone, you know, just recording covers and stuff. So yeah, there wasn't really a major moment for me. It was kind of just like I'm just gonna start singing again. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I feel like I can just see you I feel like the 90s was like a whole different era. You had access to everything, but nothing at the same time.
That part.
Yeah. So I totally understand the whole basement thing. Yeah, I know, right? Wishing that there was no catalyst when you did that caused you to transition from acting into singing. So when did you choose to do it professionally?
So I'll be honest, I didn't really choose to do it professionally. It kind of just happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, no, not like that. So remember I was saying I used to post covers and stuff like that on YouTube and whatnot. Long story short, my mom had a friend who was like, oh, you're really amazing, because obviously my mom wanted to show everyone my covers, right? Like, oh, look at my daughter. Here we go. So someone that she knows came across it, she showed it to him or whatever. And long story short, he was like, I think you're really good. You're going to go places, all that stuff. And he asked to manage me. until he kind of became my manager. And from there, that's how I kind of went into it professionally, because I got connected to like certain vocal coaches and stuff like that. Shout out to Lawson Vocal Studios. And, but I got connected to different vocal coaches and stuff like that. And then through them, things kind of just like
skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So you would say so essentially your manager was one of the key influences, or not influences, but stepping stones to get there? Or were there other bits and pieces?
I would say that,
Yeah? Was there anybody else or anything? I know from acting, you go from like you went to an acting high school,
yes,
right?
It was a performing arts school. So there was like visual arts, musical theater, and then drama focus. I was in the drama focus program and musical theater program. So I am a theater kid.
But we know that like with high schools, teachers can set you up. They usually have connects and stuff like that. So like beyond your manager, or what were you gonna say?
So I was gonna say that actually after high school, like when I graduated, I didn't really stay connected too much to my high school and whatnot, because I actually dropped I studied American Sign Language and Deaf Studies. After that, I went to college for that. So I totally like left the arts, you know? So anything that was kind of from there didn't really like follow me. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. But yeah, it was really just that moment. Like I was just doing it for fun, posting my covers and stuff. I really wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to like do this for real. I just needed to get back to that thing that brought me joy. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, so it really was just that. And then the vocal coaches and then, you know, all that stuff. And
moved from there.
Yeah, friends, family, you know.
Yeah. And you mentioned your mom supported you, of course, parents, you know, my daughter, my son. Yeah. Which got you in contact with your manager. Well, you're now manager.
At the time
manager. So it seems like you had a good support system when you took on that like professional career.
I'd say
from
so,
the start.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. So how was that? How was it having that support system with you, or like who was that support system?
Definitely my friends and my family. I mean, my mom, my sister, my brother were always super supportive of anything that I did. Like they always would come to my shows, like and those are things I don't take for granted, because I know there's a lot of people who's like, you know, whose parents or like siblings or friends and stuff like that don't show up to their shows and stuff. But my mom and my sister and you know, my brother sometimes, you know, boys, but they were always supporting me and showing up to my shows and encouraging me, especially my sister. Like she's like the one person who, honestly, my sister's like a stage mom. Okay. Like, you know,
I was gonna ask, like, does she sing with you too?
But like, okay, well, you know what? She loves singing. And so she's older than me. And like growing up, we shared a room, all that stuff, right? And so I'm looking at her and I'm like, my big sister's the coolest person on earth. And she loves singing. And she loved writing songs and stuff like that, you know? So I was definitely heavily influenced by her. And she saw my talent. So she was like, okay, like, let's go. Yeah. You know, she's always telling me like, sing this, do that, da-da-da.
Yeah. Vocal coaching, you know?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was on it.
She was on it, yeah. Okay, that's good. And do you think your sister also allowed you to see yourself pursuing music more professionally?
I mean, I'd say so.
Yeah. If it's not your sister, was it like somebody else where you saw that and you were just like, okay, I can do it too? Or you're like, I'm going to get into it. I'll take it seriously. Like I'm about to get in.
I think honestly, it's just seeing like anybody. Like I don't know. Like I think like honestly, I think it's always been a dream of mine. Yeah. To be famous in some sort of art. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like that's a good question. That's a honest. I think just. I don't think it's seeing people. I think it's more so hearing the encouragement is what makes me believe like, okay, so I can do this thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's other people being like you're amazing, or like, you know, you can do this, you know? And so I think like just the support and the encouragement and stuff like that is the thing that made me believe, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Like the motivation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Using that as motivation. That's great. That's great news. Cause like you mentioned, a lot of people don't have that support system.
Exactly.
And when they don't have that support system, it just, in the long run, it takes like a mental toll on them.
Absolutely.
And all that jazz.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But in that forefront, was there ever a time where you were just like, I can't do this anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, there was.
Yeah.
So after all of that, when I started to take it more serious and whatnot, that was in like 15 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2016, I dropped, oh no, sorry. That was in 2015, something like that. And then 2017, I dropped an EP. Mm-hmm. And then 2018, I dropped a single and a music video. And then 2019, I left the face of the earth. And I said, I'm not singing anymore. I don't want to do this. I'm not interested in this. I'm tapping out.
Okay.
So that was like, it wasn't that I didn't think I couldn't like do it, like make it or whatever. It was more so just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sing anymore. Yeah. So 2019 was when I kind of was like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. But before that, you know, I had a good couple of years there where I got to do a lot of amazing things. In 2016, I got to do background vocals for Alessia Cara at the 2016 MMVAs, Much Music Video Awards.
Right.
That is actually, I'm going to go into that a little bit because that's a big deal for me because I mean,
it is a big deal.
Yeah, no, yes. But no. But like, it's very special. It was a big moment for me because I was somebody growing up in Toronto. I used to go to the MMVAs like every year with my friends, you know? And the thing about that, it's a free concert, right? A free award show, I should say. So you would have to line up the weekend prior to the show. You'd have to line up to get a wristband, okay? And it's first come, first serve, of course, right? So people would camp out and everything. So me and my friends would go the night before, sleep on the streets of downtown Toronto just to get these wristbands, okay? Just to get these wristbands. Yes. You know, long line, you know? And we would go, like, I don't know how many years we went, but it was a few years we went. And so then to be on the stage and to be like watching the people in the audience and to be backstage and all that stuff was like huge for me. Cause I was like, yo, I used to be like, I mean, well, now I am, but like, but you know, it was like just like last year, a few years ago, I was lining up on the streets like everybody else, you know, trying to get a wristband to get in to watch the show. Right. And now I'm kind of on the other side, you know, so that
it's like a full circle moment.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it was really, really special for me to have gotten that opportunity. That was huge. And then we got to take these awesome jackets home with us as well. Super awesome. And then I also had the opportunity to do background vocals for the contestants on CTV's The Launch. So that was awesome as well. Got to see a lot of artists there as well, like known people. I think Fergie was there one time. Like just a lot of people were there.
I didn't watch the show.
Oh, you should check it out.
I
a lot of talented people on the show. No?
Yeah, I saw the ads and and all that stuff, and I was like, I want to get into it. And
So that was super awesome. I did both seasons, so that was really amazing. I was also, during those couple of years before 2019, a part of like a Motown tribute band. Oh, wow. Well. Yeah. So, you know, I got to dress up and do my thing and sing like Diana Ross and Supremes and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and kind of go around Ontario doing that. Yeah. So
you were basically on tour?
I did a few of those shows. Okay. I wouldn't say we were like on tour, so to speak, but there were a lot of shows that happened just, you know, in different theaters around Ontario and stuff like that. But, you know, it was fun.
We can still call it a little Ontario.
It was like it was a little Ontario. But yeah, so a lot of amazing things took place during that time. But I think that was also like the catalyst for why I chose to stop.
Okay.
Singing and stuff like that, because I think I kind of got thrusted into the world too soon. You know, like I was just making covers on YouTube, like I said, right? I was just doing it for fun. And then all of a sudden, you know, the manager thing happened, and then, you know, the vocal coaches, and then all these opportunities and stuff like that, right? Which again was amazing, but I was like, I don't even know myself yet. Not even only as an artist, but also as a person. Right. You know?
Right. And you were so young too.
And I was young. So that was like the big thing for me. And then when I decided to stop, that's what I focused on, was trying to find out who I am, you know? And so from 2019 till 2023, I would say, that's what I was doing.
So redefining energy.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't know if it was redefining or if it was finding energy, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so during that time period of when you weren't making music anymore, what was the process? Like, what was like your day-to-day looking like, or like monthly, weekly? So
I was really focused during that time on like my my healing and addressing my trauma and dealing with all of that. Did I intend for that to take as long as it did? And I mean, it's still happening, right? It never ends, right?
It's continuous.
You know what I'm saying?
Work in progress.
I thought like, okay, I'm just going to talk about it, move on, get back to life. But it wasn't that, you know what I mean? I went on a very deep and long, I call it even a spiritual journey, you know? And so that was really my focus. I also started to get into a lot of like spiritual work and stuff like that. And so I was doing a lot of, I would read tarot and stuff like that for people. And so I did a few events, stuff like that. So that's what I was doing in between then. And just, like I said, focusing on finding myself and dealing with the trauma and the things that would come up from dealing with that. It did take a toll. So there wasn't really a lot of room and space and energy to focus on the things I wanted to focus on.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, and those moments, like, they're pretty hard on someone, like, whether it's emotionally, mentally. Did you still write music during that time? Or was it just kind of completely paused to the side?
I wasn't necessarily writing, but for me, like, music is always coming to me. So I would have a bunch of different little like recordings on my phone or whatever, because I would just feel something and I say, I need to sing this out loud. And so I've just recorded on my phone. Yeah. So I wasn't really like sitting down and being intentional and like, okay, I'm going to write a song or whatever. I wasn't doing any of that, but I was always making music, if that makes sense. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. And how did your family feel about it?
About what?
Well,
about what?
I mean, they were there when you were launching yourself, right? Putting yourself out there. Yeah. Now you decide to take that step back. I feel like sometimes, I know parents, sometimes it could be difficult to have your kids kind of take that step back. They're kind of there when you're like, you know, the little birdie flying out of the nest to get out into the world. But then when you decide to put a pause, I know with a lot of parents and family members, sometimes if you're doing so well, it's not, they forget about the whole like mental health aspect and they just want you to keep going and like persevere, which is yes, but you also need to take time for yourself. Yeah. So how was that aspect? Like, did they understand right off the bat, or was the support still kind of there to like keep making music? And
I don't think like my family kind of just moves with me, you know. It's not it's not really like no, but it wasn't really like oh, like, you know, I feel like it was more so like friends and just people who knew me who were more so like, what happened to you? Like, why you stop? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, why you stopping? Like, where's your music? Like, all that type of stuff. Not necessarily my family. I think because they kind of had more so of like an inside kind of scoop on what I was going through. So it kind of made sense. Right. Whereas other people didn't really know. So they're like, why are you stopping? Like, you're good at this. Why would you stop? You know?
It's like you're there and now you're not. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. And I also know you had like these t-shirts during that EP period. The fan base was alive.
I did. Oh man. Yeah. My people, they would definitely make shirts for my shows. Absolutely. Yeah, and there's I have this one shirt where there's a photo on it, and it's actually from the photo shoot, because my EP that came out in 2017, I ended up taking that down, and then I re-released it in 2022. But the album art on it is completely different. Right. So I have one shirt with a photo on it that like that's a photo from the photo shoot for the artwork for the EP back in 2017.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, you know,
I got the
yeah. Okay. So that's awesome. Yeah,
but it wasn't remastered. It was just
no. I kind of just like took it down because I was like, it's not me. I don't feel connected necessarily to those songs anymore. So I was like, I don't really want them out there. Also, I changed my name as well, so my artist name was different, all that stuff. So I kind of just had to take it all down and then put it all back up.
Okay. Under the new energy.
Under the energy, yeah.
Okay, the new improved, the 2.0.
Yeah, the real energy. I'll say that. I'll say the real energy.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So what led you back to music, essentially?
I'm gonna be honest. No, it was during the pandemic, actually, when I decided to start getting back into it again. I had a period of like, you know, I was struggling with my mental health and all that stuff. So working wasn't really a thing for me at the time, but you know, bills needed to get paid, money needed to be made. So I said, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna sing. It's very easy for me to do that. People are always looking for a singer. And so that's kind of how I got back into it.
Right.
But then I started to remember how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So it kind of also
So
brought
then
you back to the
exactly.
love
So then I
of
just
it.
kept going and going. And then people started to recognize me as a singer. You know what I mean? Because at this point, now I'm in Ottawa, right? I forgot that in 2019, I moved here from Toronto, right? So that,
613.
Yeah. So, you know, people here weren't familiar with me.
Right.
And didn't know that I could sing and stuff like that. So when I started to, it kind of started to pick up naturally and stuff like that. And then I just like remembered how much I loved it. But then, like, you know, the idea started to flow. My creativity started to come back. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I was like, yo, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Were there any lessons that you learned from your hiatus that was able to be applied to your music once you came back?
To be myself. That's a lesson. Be myself straight from top to bottom, beginning to end.
Okay.
No, like, yeah, to be myself, but also to, you know, like approach it from a place of authenticity and not from, oh, I want to be famous or have the next hit song or any of that, you know? It was like, go back to why you started making music in the beginning anyways. You know what I mean? Like, why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for?
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Who are you doing this for?
That's a big one.
Why do you find joy in it? You know what I mean? How do you find joy in it? Things like that. So I think just during that time, actually, no.
Oh.
The biggest lesson. Was to be more vulnerable in my art. That's it. I think that is it for me. Because, like I said, my music is how I tell my story. It's how I talk about my feelings and my emotions. But this time around, because I had, I guess, dealt with all that stuff, this time around I said, okay, I need to be real this time. I need to be a bit more vulnerable. And I need to be clear about what it is I'm saying and putting into my music and my art.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. With no limitations.
With no limitations, you know? Like no hiding.
Limitations and no expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Again,
I like
real
that.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. And
Yeah.
you also mentioned going back and remembering a lot of the things that made you get into singing and all of that. So what are some small victories?
Ooh. Okay. So the first one, the first one that stands out to me is I must have been about like 8 or 9.
Okay.
And in Toronto, there's this mall, Center Point Mall. And y'all have one of those here?
I don't know.
A Center Point Mall? No? Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, at Center Point Mall in Toronto, they had this karaoke competition. And it was me, my sister, my mom, and I think my sister's friend. I don't know. We were all there for some reason. And we all did the competition. I sang Lucky by Britney Spears.
Okay.
And I won that round. Okay.
Nice.
And so then you were supposed to come back for the finals, right? To compete. That was the victory though, winning that. Okay.
Okay.
Because
nice.
I didn't win the whole thing. Because, well, I'll tell you why though. Because when I had won like the first time or whatever, the whatever round that was, I guess it was like the second round or whatever. I was borrowing somebody's karaoke CD that they had. That's why I was able to do Lucky by Britney Spears, right? And I'm super familiar with that song. My sister's the biggest Britney Spears fan on this planet. So, you know. But then the day of like the final competition or whatever, I didn't have that song. The song wasn't available.
Oh.
Because I was going to do it again or something. Yeah. Like that.
To like bring it back.
Yeah. Because I knew it. So then my sister was like, just do Sometimes by Britney Spears, right? So I was like, okay, like I'll just do that. I wasn't too familiar with that one, like, or comfortable, I should say, with it. Right. So I didn't win. Okay. But the girl who did like win, she came up to me and she was like, you really, like, you should have won, like, da-da-da-da. Yeah. Girl, like, take your award and go. Yeah. No,
I'm humbled.
Yeah, you know.
I'm humbled.
But no, that was like the first thing ever because I was like, oh my gosh, like that was, I think, the first time I actually won something, even though it wasn't the you know, like the big
like
win.
The big prize.
I still made it.
Still a win.
You know?
A small victory.
Yeah, a small victory. So definitely that. And then it would be in junior high. So I went to Woodbine Junior High School. So that's grade 7 to grade 9. I don't remember what grade this happened in. I think it might have been grade 8 or grade 9.
Okay.
But our school had a Woodbine Idol. So like American Idol, Canadian Idol, but Woodbine Idol. Yeah. And my friend and I, we auditioned and we got in. You know, we got our little golden ticket and we got in.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah, and then we won.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And then we won.
You guys went in as a duo.
Yeah, we went in as a duo.
Okay.
We did a little duet, and then that was the same friend that I used to record with in the basement. You know?
Yeah. Shout out to that friend.
Shout out to that friend. Yeah, and then we won. So that was pretty dope. And that is also when people were like, "Oh, like you sing, like you sing." You know what I mean? So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And was there any other? I know that was in grade 8 or
8 or 9.
But was there anything else like post transitioning into professional singing, like anything after Alicia Cara, or even during that time when you were taking it seriously, or even after your hiatus where it helped you get back on the scene, like when you were getting back into it? Was there anything else that was kind of like very prominent
in terms of like victories, like wins and stuff like
victories,
that?
or even just being more seen, like a podcast that you were on, or honestly, or another contest, or like a show you sang on, or anything like that?
I think honestly it was being a part of PBY, Produced by Youth, the program here.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, that we run here. You should check it out, you know. PBY, a little plug in there. No, but I think that was huge for me as well, because we got to record songs. Like that was part of like the program, was like to finish a song or whatever. And so that was the first time I recorded something new.
Since your hiatus.
Since my hiatus. And so that was huge, because people got to hear my sound now, like my voice, how it sounds now and stuff like that. And then people were like, "Oh, okay, you can sing. And so I think that kind of led to other things, because through PBY I was also able to do Peak, which is like a festival that happens at a music festival that happens at Saw Gallery.
Okay.
So that was big as well. And then from there,
it just
kept going. Yeah. So, you know.
So there you go. Just like one program. And you know, I feel like Ottawa also does need to invest a bit more into their creatives. But I feel like that's the topic for another time.
Honestly,
a whole other topic for another time. But no, that's great. Yeah. That's amazing. And all you do is you write music in that program?
No, so you learn like production, to produce like music and stuff like that, and beats and whatnot. Artist development is in there a little bit, like how to release your music, all that stuff. It's a pretty like full program, and there's different like tiers to it as well. So depending on like if it's intermediate or beginner cycle or whichever one, you're going to learn different things. Yeah.
And I'm sure you get to work with different people as well.
Absolutely.
Different producers in Ottawa.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. So speaking of victories, of course we have you here because you are the first ever Come Correct champion.
Let's go.
Yes. So we're here to talk about competitions. So let's talk about it.
So
we're just gonna bring in your trophy.
All right, let's do it. It's my little baby. Thank you.
It's so pretty.
It is. It's a very, very beautiful trophy.
Shout out to Pieces of Us.
For real.
Yeah, because that's an amazing
piece.
This
is a dope trophy.
Yeah, so beautiful, so pretty. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it.
What made you get into that competition? I know they were doing the auditions and the registrations and everything came out, but like what pushed you to register, to go for it?
So 2 things. One is that I was really in the era of like just putting myself out there, and like I wanted to apply to everything that I saw. You know what I mean? So that was the first thing. Actually, you know what?
Go ahead.
I saw the competition posting on Instagram, and I saved the post because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna apply. I don't know. Do I want to be in a competition? I don't know. It's stressful, right? But I was like, it's calling me. So then, anyways, I did an episode of Share Your Piece. And when I was there, I was encouraged to apply to the competition.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. And honestly, I think I applied like the day before the deadline. Yeah.
I know you were stressed on the computer.
I mean, a little bit, but yeah, I applied like the day before, whatever. So honestly, like I would say a lot of the encouragement came from the Pieces of Us team, to be honest. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, and then
shout out to y'all.
Right? And now here she is.
Now here I
am. And tell us a bit about that experience. So you did mention you did the registration, or you applied a bit late and everything like that, but talk to us about the process, like how you felt during the process, during the competition itself, even after the competition.
So preparing for the competition, I think would have been the hardest part because it was deciding which songs to sing and which round to sing it.
Right.
That was the big thing.
Yeah.
That was the really, exactly, right? I knew what my last song was going to be.
Okay.
The second song was the hardest because I said, okay, for the first song, So for the first song, I took an old song from my EP and kind of rewrote it in a different way. And I kind of just like knew, I don't know, it was kind of like an opening, an introduction to myself. And I felt like with that song, people would be like, I want to see more. So I was like, okay, that one we have secured. The second song though, I was like, I don't know, because it has to like there's less people now in the competition.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you know, this is the first
exactly, right?
Round,
like there's less people. So like you have to come with something, you know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know. I thought about doing a cover. I thought about so many different things. I almost did Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye because because
that would have been
because that used to be like my I used to do that song a lot back in the day when I used to sing
a staple
back then. You know. So I was gonna do that, but I was like, it's a bit risky. I don't know. It's a bit it's risky.
Yeah. It's a risk.
So
but you want to make it to that third round.
You know what I'm saying? So I ended up deciding to do an original song, Love You Anyway. It's off of my EP. And the reason that I chose it was because I'm like, this, like people love this song from what I've seen, how people respond to it. They love this song. And I'm like, even if the vocals don't hit on this one, hopefully the song itself will carry me to the third round. And so the second round is when I was the most nervous because I was like, I don't know. I'm taking a chance with this song. So I don't know. So I was so nervous. But then when I made it to the third round, I was like, okay.
Fruitful.
Yeah. I was like, okay. This song, I feel like this is going to be the one. So like, I feel like I've made it. Yeah. In the clear, whatever. But yeah, so the preparation really, it was just like, which songs, which round, you know what I mean? So really strategizing around that. And then during the competition, I was sweating. Well, like literally sweating. Like stress sweat? Yeah, I had all of that. Like,
but that's what a competition is for, right?
Yeah.
Like to put you, I would say not really on edge, but to keep you on your toes.
Yes. Yeah.
And then to like push you to always do your best and not just sit like comfortable and chill on your heels.
And that's the thing, right? You have to make sure that you're bringing it every round. It's not like, okay, so round one, I'm gonna take it light, like whatever. It was like, nah, like every time you go on there, like you need to come hard. You know what I mean? You need to come correct. But yeah, it was super fun though. I love shows where like I get to just hang out with other artists because like my favorite part of the competition, honestly, was just being backstage and just vibing with everybody. Like, and I got to see other people performing. So I was cheering them on and stuff. And so, you know, by the last round, I was losing my voice a bit, but it's my own fault. Yeah. So I was just, you know, but no, it was super fun. Everybody was so talented. That's also what made me nervous because I was like, you just don't know, you know? And there was so much different like forms of art that were on that stage, right? So it was kind of hard to know.
Yeah, like how the crowd would feel.
Or
lean towards you or how to navigate. So
you see what I'm saying? Like the talent was amazing. So yeah, it was stressful. I'm not gonna lie. It was very stressful. It was very stressful. In the best way, yes. Very stressful in the best way. But yeah, like, and then when I won, I was just like, thank God.
Okay.
I was just like, thank God.
Because you're like, I'm at the end and it's a prize.
Yeah.
So now this one is a big victory?
This is a big victory. This is a big victory, especially because of what you win, like what I won. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a nice ass trophy like this. Excuse my language, but I don't have a nice trophy like, well, I didn't until now, but you know what I mean? This awesome trophy. Yeah. You know, the $1,000 and then the halftime performance for the Blackjacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah. Have you done the halftime yet?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
It's coming.
It's coming. I think in the summer.
Yeah,
I think so.
Likely.
I don't know. In summer, yeah.
You also mentioned.
What did I mention?
Yes, for the second song. So instead of Marvin Gaye, you opted basically to bet on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, which means like pen game. Talk to us about that. And you mentioned for your first song that it was already a song that you had from your EP, but you like razzle-dazzled it. I
razzle-dazzled it a little bit.
Just a
actually, I kind of stripped it down, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's actually very interesting that you brought that up because when I was deciding, I said, okay, I don't want people to just focus on the voice because like there's a lot of talent here. You know what I mean? It can't just be like, listen to my voice, right? You have to make sure you're bringing something else. So I was like, I want people also to hear the writing and to take in my writing. You know what I mean? My pen game, you know?
Pen game.
Yeah, so that is another reason why I said, let me just do all originals. Okay. You know what I mean? And yes, the first song, it's a song called Life, one of my original songs. And it kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier about my healing and stuff like that and coming back out as a more like authentic version of myself. Because that song is a song that I wrote. Like people love that song when they hear it because it's very upbeat and it's very like, you know. But if you really listen to what I'm saying, I'm actually talking about how trauma has impacted me and then how my life played out because of that trauma.
Okay.
But it's okay because life is good. You know what I mean? Put a smile on and you just do your thing, right?
Right.
So I kind of stripped it down. And when I did it for the competition, I told my story. Like I actually told the story. Like I stripped it down and I really went to the root of what I was saying in the original and then did that for the competition. And I thought like, you know, like I said, if it's not the vocals that are going to take me in the first song, then at least my writing, it's the message. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it played out well.
Yeah.
This is first winner
Wow,
of the
come on now.
Yeah, so you talked about preparation. At home, did you prepare? Did you do additional like gigs or anything like that to like vocally prepare yourself?
Not necessarily gigs, I would say, but I was in the studio just like writing and rehearsing a lot.
Okay.
I was just in the studio doing that, like kind of using it as like my little office and like writing and singing and just practicing in that way and like obviously rehearsing and stuff like that. But there weren't any gigs or anything like that kind of.
Just like vocal practicing
just
and
vocal
like being in that good mental space.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you to now be a champ? What did it mean to you to also win? So those two questions.
It was huge. It was huge because, again, right, this is the era where I'm coming back out. And I'm coming back out as myself, like my authentic self. And it's scary. And in this kind of world, you don't know how people are going to receive it. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, like people like, you have to be real. Like society can be kind of like,
cookie cutter.
You see what I'm saying? Like we want like the stuff that is not too deep. You know, so
like
I was,
surface level,
you know,
safe. Yeah,
exactly. So I was a little bit like nervous about that. So winning meant a lot for me because I was like, okay, it means people are receiving me. You know what I mean? They're receiving me, and being myself is working. You know what I mean? Like I took a chance on vulnerability and authenticity, and it worked. So that's what winning the competition really showed me. And it also, of course, it was a boost, right? And like an affirming kind of experience as well, you know? And like, okay, so that, I would say that moment was a big moment in also being like, yeah, I really can do this again. And I can do this now in this era. Yeah. After all these years. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. Just being like from there and now. And so, yeah, it's like kind of, I'm not going to say it's a full circle moment, but it's kind of like a realization that I can still do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here we go. Round two. Like, round two.
But this time in my skin.
Yes. Exactly.
Tell us about your creative process today when you're in and out of the studio. How does that look like?
First things first, start with the writing. And I always start with the hook. I love to write a good hook. And so I'll always start there and then kind of build the song around that. Okay. But I kind of just like, I start with like, okay, what story am I telling? Where do I want to go with this? Who do I need to become to tell this story? Like, you have to become like a character in a sense. Not that you're faking anything, because I like to speak from experience, but it's like, okay, even if it's me having to go back and become my 15-year-old self again or whatever, you know, I take the time to kind of do that, become that person, and write from that place. Right. And then you start with the hook, go to the studio, lay that down, lay down the vocals, you know, and
get into the verse.
You know what I'm saying? Get to the verses, and then you know.
Okay, that's a pretty good process. Not that I would know, but like.
Well, you did say you sing, so I don't
know. But yeah, and just off that, when can we expect new music from you? Like, what are your hopes for what the future holds for you?
Definitely an EP is going to be coming out. That'll probably come out like the end of the year, I'd say. Around
end of the year, as in December? Or end of the year as in like this summer, July,
As in like
August.
I mean,
I'm looking at you crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at you crazy. This is crazy.
like late summer, right? Like fall. Let's say fall. You know what I mean? Like around there. But you can definitely expect some singles to be dropping in the near future.
Okay.
Wink, wink. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're going to be on which platforms?
So I think right now what I'm gonna do is I'm getting back on SoundCloud, just so everybody knows, so go follow me. I'm getting back on SoundCloud, and I want to drop some music just on like SoundCloud and YouTube and stuff like that, because I am also exploring myself today, right, and my sound today, so I kind of just want to, you know, pump some songs out, drop them, let people hear them. Yeah. But I will expand to, you know, Spotify and Apple Music and all those other, you know, platforms and stuff like that. Yeah. I already got music on there, so you know.
Yeah. And I'm a Spotify girly, so
okay,
I definitely need everything on Spotify at all times.
Well, you know, yeah, my music is, I mean, I do have songs on there, and I will have more on there, but I think I'm going to have some songs that'll just be, you know, like on SoundCloud and YouTube and stuff. But,
yeah. And what's some, for any upcoming artists or anyone kind of transitioning into that process of going pro, right? Or trying to professionally get into singing, what is some advice that you have for them? For the creative process or like to try to be seen more, like any kind of words of encouragement there?
Get outside. Like get outside, go meet people, go to different events that align with, you know, whatever artistry it is that you're doing. If you're singing, you know, go to events like that and apply to everything. Apply to everything. Apply to everything. If you see an application that obviously fits your artistry, apply, because you never know. Yeah. And you never know if you get that opportunity where that's going to lead you. Yeah. You know, so just like be bold, show up, show out, and that's it.
There you go. Yeah, that's amazing. And so we're super excited for your new music. Of course, you already know I'm about to be ready for that, pressured. Waiting for it on Spotify, waiting for the promo, you know, Pieces of Us is starting back up again. Yes. So hopefully we get to see you again.
Hopefully.
Whether you perform at one of your shows or just maybe, you know, apply again for any specific events. Yes. But yeah, so I have one more question for you before we close off. Okay. So I'm just going to read it. So what's an important piece of energy that we should take away from today?
I don't know if this is like, I don't know, like you're safe here. You know, like like you're safe here. Like I'm a safe place. Like that's it. I feel like that's it. Like you're welcome here. You're safe here. Like you can be yourself here. Yeah, that's it.
Amazing. So where can we find you on socials?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Energy, but no apostrophe, so NNERJIE. And then my music is available on all streaming platforms. So, you know, go look me up. That's it.
Okay. Awesome. Happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. So happy to have you here. Hope you guys tune in and buy your tickets for future Pieces of Us events. Until next time.
Thanks for having me.